Every year, millions of people around the world die from stroke. In the United States alone, stroke remains one of the leading causes of death and long-term disability. And what makes this even more dangerous is this: many of those people never saw it coming. No warning, no pain, no clear sign that something was about to go wrong. One moment, everything feels normal, and the next, a part of the brain loses blood flow. Within minutes, brain cells begin to die. That is how fast it happens. So let me ask you something. Why is the number still so high? Why are so many people still suffering from stroke, even when medicine has advanced so much? The answer is not as simple as most people think. It is not just about age. It is not just about genetics. And it is not just about taking medication. In many cases, the real problem is this: people are missing the early warning signs, and more importantly, they do not understand what is silently damaging their blood vessels every single day. Because stroke does not begin the moment it happens. It begins years earlier. It begins with changes inside your blood vessels. It begins with pressure building up slowly over time. It begins with habits that seem harmless, but are not. And the most dangerous part is this: you can feel completely fine, while the risk is already growing inside your body. That is why this video matters. Because today, I am going to show you simple, practical things you can start doing to protect your blood vessels, support your heart, and reduce your risk of stroke. These are not complicated medical treatments, and they are not meant to replace your doctor, but they are things that many people are never told until it is too late. So I want you to stay with me until the end of this video, because what you learn today could help you avoid a life-changing event tomorrow. Before we go any further, take a second to help this channel reach more people who truly need this information. If you care about your brain, your heart, and your long-term health, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Senior Brain Health channel. Every week, we share simple, easy-to-understand health information designed especially for adults over 50, so you can protect your body, stay independent, and avoid preventable health problems. Now, let us continue. Now let us talk about what is really happening inside your body. Because if you understand this part, everything else will start to make sense. Most people think high blood pressure is caused by too much salt or too much stress. And yes, those things do play a role, but they are not the full story. The real problem goes deeper. It starts inside your blood vessels. Think of your blood vessels like a soft, flexible tube. When you are younger, those tubes are smooth and elastic. They expand easily when blood flows through them. They adjust. They absorb pressure. They protect your heart. But as you get older, something begins to change. The walls of those blood vessels slowly become thicker. They become stiffer. They lose their ability to expand the way they used to. And when that happens, pressure starts to build. Now imagine trying to push water through a hard, narrow pipe instead of a soft, flexible hose. The pressure inside that pipe will rise very quickly. That is exactly what is happening inside your body. But here's the part most people never hear about. This change does not happen overnight. It happens slowly, day after day, year after year. And the main reason behind it is something called inflammation. Do not worry about the word. Let me explain it in a simple way. Inflammation is your body's natural response to damage. If you cut your skin, it becomes red and swollen. That is inflammation. But inside your blood vessels, this process can happen quietly. There is no pain, no clear warning. But the inner lining of your blood vessels becomes irritated. Over time, that irritation causes the walls to thicken and harden. And once the vessels become stiff, your heart has to work much harder to push blood through them. That is when your blood pressure starts to rise. And here is what makes it even more dangerous. You may feel completely fine. You may wake up, go about your day, and think everything is normal. But inside your body, that pressure is slowly damaging your blood vessels. It is putting stress on your heart, and it is increasing your risk of stroke. This is why so many people are shocked when something suddenly happens, because they never felt it coming. Now here is the most important thing you need to understand. Every single day, what you eat and how you live is either helping reduce that inflammation or making it worse. There is no neutral. Every meal is a signal to your body. It is either helping your blood vessels stay flexible or slowly making them more rigid. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about next. Now, at this point, you might be wondering something very important. If this is what is happening inside the body, then why are so many people still struggling with high blood pressure, even when they are taking medication? That is a fair question. And the answer may surprise you, because most medications are designed to manage the symptoms, not fix the root cause. Let me explain what that means in a simple way. When your blood pressure goes up, your doctor may prescribe medication to bring those numbers down. And in many cases, those medications do help. They can relax your blood vessels, they can reduce the pressure, they can lower your risk in the short term. But here's the key point. They are controlling the number, not necessarily solving what is causing the problem in the first place. Because remember what we just talked about. The real issue is happening inside the blood vessels. It is the stiffness. It is the inflammation. It is the gradual damage building up over time, and if those things are still happening, then the pressure can come back, or it may never fully improve. This is why some people end up taking more than one medication, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes even more. Not because the medication is wrong, but because the underlying cause is still there. It is like trying to lower the pressure in a pipe without fixing what is blocking or damaging the pipe itself. Now, this does not mean you should stop taking your medication. That is very important. Always follow your doctor's advice. But what it does mean is this. Medication works best when it is combined with the right daily habits, because those habits are what actually affect the condition of your blood vessels. They influence inflammation. They influence how flexible your arteries are. They influence how hard your heart has to work every single day. And this is where most people are missing a huge opportunity. They rely only on medication, but they are not giving their body the support it needs to improve from the inside. The good news is this. There are simple, practical things you can start doing that work alongside your medication, not against it. Things that help your blood vessels relax, things that reduce inflammation, things that support your heart in a natural way. And in many cases, these small changes can make a noticeable difference faster than people expect. That is exactly what I'm going to show you next. Let us begin with the first simple change. This may be one of the easiest things you can do to support healthier blood pressure. You do not need to stop eating everything you enjoy. You do not need a complicated diet. You only need to change the order in which you eat. Start with vegetables first, then eat protein, then eat carbohydrates last. That may sound too simple to matter, but it does matter. Here is why. When you eat bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, or sweets, your body turns much of that food into sugar. That sugar enters your bloodstream. If it enters too quickly, your blood sugar rises fast. When that happens, your body releases more insulin. Insulin helps move sugar out of the blood, but when too much insulin is released at once, it can also make blood vessels tighten. And when blood vessels tighten, blood pressure can rise. This is where vegetables help. Vegetables are rich in fiber. Fiber slows digestion. It helps sugar enter the bloodstream more gradually instead of all at once. Think of it this way. If you pour water too fast into a narrow space, pressure builds quickly. But if the flow is slower and steadier, there is less strain. That is what fiber does for your body. When you eat vegetables first, they create a kind of buffer before the rest of the meal. Then, when you eat the rice, bread, or potatoes, your body handles them more calmly. That means a smaller blood sugar spike, a smaller insulin surge, and less tightening inside the blood vessels. The meal may be the same, but the effect on your body is different. For example, imagine two people eating the same dinner. Both have chicken, rice, and green vegetables. One person eats the rice first because they are hungry. The other person starts with the vegetables, then the chicken, then the rice last. Same food, same plate. But the second person is more likely to have a steadier response after the meal. That is why this habit can help support healthier blood pressure over time. And the best part is this. It is realistic. You are not changing your entire life in one day. You are simply changing the order. That makes it easier to keep doing, and habits that are easy to repeat are often the ones that make the biggest difference. So, tonight try this at your next meal. Before the bread, before the rice, before the potatoes, eat your vegetables first, then eat your protein, and leave the carbohydrates for last. It is a small step. But small steps, repeated every day, can protect your blood vessels far more than most people realize. Now that you understand how meal order affects your blood pressure, let us move one step deeper, because there is another hidden factor that many people overlook, and it is just as important: your blood sugar. Even if you have never been diagnosed with diabetes, your blood sugar still plays a major role in your blood pressure. Every time you eat, your body responds. If your blood sugar rises too quickly, your body releases insulin to control it. But when this happens again and again, day after day, something changes. Your body becomes less sensitive to insulin. This is called insulin resistance. And when that happens, your body has to produce even more insulin to do the same job. Now, here is where the problem begins. Higher insulin levels do not just affect blood sugar, they also affect your blood vessels. They can cause your blood vessels to tighten, they can increase fluid retention, and over time, they can raise your blood pressure. So even if you are taking medication, this hidden cycle may still be happening in the background. That is why stabilizing your blood sugar is so important. And the good news is, you do not need to do anything extreme, you just need to avoid sharp spikes. Here are a few simple ways to do that. First, avoid drinking sugar. Sodas, sweet tea, fruit juice, and even some smoothies can raise blood sugar very quickly. It is much better to eat whole fruit than to drink it. Second, combine your foods. Instead of eating carbohydrates alone, pair them with protein or healthy fats. For example, instead of eating bread by itself, add eggs or yogurt. Instead of eating fruit alone, add a handful of nuts. This slows down how quickly sugar enters your bloodstream. Third, be mindful of refined carbohydrates. White bread, pastries, sugary snacks, and processed foods are quickly broken down into sugar. They create fast spikes, and those spikes lead to stronger insulin responses. You do not have to eliminate them completely, but reducing how often you eat them can make a real difference. Now here is something important to remember. This is not about perfection, it is about stability. Your body does not need perfect meals. It needs steady, predictable support. When your blood sugar is more stable, your insulin levels are more stable. And when insulin is more stable, your blood vessels are more relaxed. That means less pressure, less strain on the heart, and lower risk over time. So as you move forward, keep this in mind. It is not just about what you eat. It is about how your body responds to what you eat. And small changes in that response can lead to meaningful improvements in your health. Now let us talk about something that many people never think about. What happens to your blood pressure while you are asleep? Most people believe that when they go to bed, their body is resting. And that is partly true. But your heart is still working, your blood is still flowing, and your blood pressure is still active. In a healthy pattern, blood pressure should go down at night. It should drop naturally. This gives your heart and blood vessels a chance to recover. But for many adults over the age of 50, this does not happen. Instead of going down, blood pressure stays the same, or in some cases, it even goes higher. This condition is known as nighttime high blood pressure, and it is more common than most people realize. The dangerous part is this: you cannot feel it. You are asleep. There is no warning, no discomfort, no signal that something is wrong. But inside your body, your blood vessels are still under pressure. Your heart is still working harder than it should. And over time, this increases the risk of stroke. In fact, many serious cardiovascular events happen in the early morning hours, right when people are waking up. That is not a coincidence. It is often the result of what was happening during the night. Now the question is, what can you do about it? One simple habit that may help is what you eat before bed. Not a heavy meal, not sugar, not processed snacks, but something small that supports your blood vessels. For example, a small portion of nuts, especially walnuts, can be helpful. Walnuts contain healthy fats and natural compounds that support blood vessel relaxation. They also provide nutrients that may help your body maintain a more stable pattern overnight. You do not need a large amount. A small handful, about what fits comfortably in your palm, is enough. Eat it about 30 minutes before going to sleep. It is simple, it is gentle, and it works with your body, not against it. Another thing to keep in mind is this: avoid going to bed with a heavy, high-sugar meal. Large spikes in blood sugar late in the evening can keep your system active when it should be slowing down. That can interfere with the natural drop in blood pressure during sleep. So, think of your evening routine as preparation. You are preparing your body for rest. You are giving your heart a chance to recover, and small choices before bed can make a bigger difference than most people expect, because your health is not only shaped by what you do during the day, it is also shaped by what happens while you sleep. And the more stable your body is at night, the safer you are in the long run. Now, I want you to do something very simple. After this video, go to your kitchen, open your cabinet, and look at the oils you are using every single day. Because what I am about to tell you may change the way you see your food completely. Many of the most common cooking oils today are not helping your heart. They may actually be hurting it. Oils like canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, and sunflower oil are used in millions of homes. They are cheap, they are easy to cook with, and for many years, people were told they were heart healthy. But here is what most people were never told. These oils are very high in something called omega-6 fatty acids. Now your body does need some omega-6, but the problem is not the amount alone, it is the balance. Your body works best when omega-3 and omega-6 are in balance. But today, many people consume far more omega-6 than omega-3, sometimes 10 times more, sometimes even more than that. And this imbalance can drive inflammation inside the body. Remember what we talked about earlier. Inflammation is one of the key reasons blood vessels become stiff. It is one of the silent forces behind high blood pressure, and these oils can quietly feed that process. But there is another issue, and this one is even more concerning. When these oils are heated, especially at high temperatures, they become unstable, they break down, and they can form compounds that are harmful to your blood vessels. You cannot see it, you cannot taste it, but over time, the damage adds up, meal after meal, day after day, year after year. So even if you think you are eating normal food, you may be exposing your body to something that is working against your heart. Now, this does not mean you need to panic. And it does not mean you need to throw everything away tonight, but it does mean you should start making better choices moving forward. For everyday use, extra virgin olive oil is a better option. It contains healthy fats that support blood vessel function. It has natural anti-inflammatory properties, and it has been studied for many years. For higher heat cooking, small amounts of real butter can be a reasonable choice. Not margarine, not processed spreads, but real butter, used in moderation. Now, I understand this may sound different from what you were told in the past. Many people grew up hearing that butter was bad and vegetable oils were better, but our understanding has changed. And what we now see is this: not all fats are the same, and some of the most common oils in modern diets may not be as harmless as they seem. So, tonight take a look at what you are using. You do not have to change everything at once, but even one small shift in the right direction can reduce inflammation, support your blood vessels, and help lower your risk over time. Now, let us slow down for a moment. Not every change has to feel strict or difficult. Sometimes supporting your blood pressure can be as simple as choosing the right drink. One gentle option is hibiscus tea. Hibiscus tea has a deep red color and a light tart flavor, almost like cranberry. But more importantly, it contains natural compounds that may help blood vessels relax. And when blood vessels relax, blood flows more easily. That can help reduce pressure inside the arteries. What makes hibiscus tea so helpful is its simplicity. You are not learning a complicated routine. You are not adding another pill. You are simply choosing a drink that may support your heart in a calm, natural way. It can be warm in the morning. It can be cold in the afternoon. It can even become part of your evening routine. Try to drink it with little or no sugar. Too much sugar can work against the very thing you are trying to improve. If you need a little sweetness, use only a small amount. This is not a miracle cure, and it is not meant to replace medical treatment. But it is one more small habit that can support your body over time. And that is how real progress often happens. Not through one dramatic change, but through simple choices, repeated day after day. Sometimes, caring for your heart begins with something as small as a quiet cup of tea. Let us bring everything together, because this is the moment that matters most. You have heard the information. You understand what is happening inside your body. Now, the only question is this: what are you going to do next? Because high blood pressure does not fix itself. It does not go away on its own. And it does not wait for the right time. It continues quietly, day after day, even when you feel fine, even when nothing seems wrong. That is what makes it dangerous. Not just what it does, but how silently it does it. Many people believe they still have time. They think, I will take care of this later. I will make changes next month. I will wait until my next doctor visit. But here is the truth. By the time symptoms appear, the damage has often been there for years. Blood vessels do not suddenly become stiff overnight. The process is slow, and that means the solution must also begin early. Not when it is convenient, but when you become aware. Right now, you are aware. Right now, you know what is happening, and that gives you something very important, a choice. You can continue with the same habits, the same patterns, the same daily routines that may be working against your body. Or you can start making small changes. Not everything at once, just one step, one decision, one habit. Maybe it is eating your vegetables first. Maybe it is paying attention to your blood sugar. Maybe it is changing the oil in your kitchen. Maybe it is improving what you do before sleep. It does not matter where you start. What matters is that you start, because every day you wait is another day your blood vessels are under pressure. Another day your heart is working harder than it should. Another day the risk continues to build. And here is something I want you to remember. Most people who experience a stroke never thought it would happen to them. They felt normal. They were living their daily life. Until one moment changed everything. And after that moment, many things cannot be reversed. That is the part no one wants to talk about. But it is real. And it is preventable in many cases. Not with one big action, but with small, consistent choices. So, before you leave this video, do one thing. Choose one habit from what you learned today. Just one. And commit to it. Start tonight, not tomorrow, not next week. Tonight. Because your future health is not decided in one moment. It is decided in the small choices you repeat every day. And the earlier you start, the more you protect what matters most. Take care of your heart. Take care of your brain. You only get one.